Alright guys, welcome to this page of the notes. What we're going to do here on this page of the notes is look at our second theorem for finding an angle measure. This one's going to be the tangent secant interior angle measure theorem. So here we go. Our secant tangent, again, the real sort of important word in there is going to be interior, because remember, we have both an interior and an exterior tangent secant angle measure theorem. And again, the difference is this. You'll either be finding for this one an interior angle, an angle inside the circle, versus in the next one, the tangent secant exterior, you'll be finding an angle measure on the exterior of the circle. So that's the way that we'll tell these two apart. So anyway, here's the way it's going to work. Again, it's the tangent secant because that's exactly what I've got. I have a secant line. It intersects the circle at 2 points. It intersects at B and A. And then I also have a tangent line BC, which only intersects the circle at 1 point. Here's the way the theorem works. It works, oh, sorry, not pen, highlighter. There it is. Simply works like this. All you're going to do in order to find the measure of that angle, which angle? This angle right here. The measure of angle ABC, so ABC, it's this angle right here. The measure of that angle is 1/2 the measure of the arc AB. The measure of that arc. So whatever the measure of that arc is, multiply it by 1/2 and you'll know the measure of the interior angle. Or vice versa. If I give you the measure of the angle, you can find the measure of the arc by multiplying it by 2. Right? So that's the theorem. Here we go. Let's take a look at how this is going to work in a couple of example problems right down here. Alright, here we go. I want you to find, actually I asked you to find two things. I want you to find the measure of BCD. BCD, okay, here we go. BCD is this guy right there. BCD, and please notice that I give you the measure of BC. It's 142. So we set up the problem, plug and chug, don't fat finger something. Here we go. The measure of B, oh, nope, I forgot my angle symbol. The measure of angle BCD is 1/2 the measure of arc BC, right? That's what the formula says. The measure of the angle is half the measure of the arc that angle produces. Here we go. I know that the measure of the arc is 142. I'm going to plug it in. 142 times 1/2, and I know the measure of my angle. So the measure of angle BCD is going to be 1/2 of 142, which means the measure of BCD is going to be, I get 71 degrees. 71 degrees. Okay, awesome. Let's keep going because we didn't stop there. I then want you to find the measure of arc ABC. Okay, let me erase this stuff. Here's the arc ABC. I want you to find the measure of that arc ABC. So the measure of that arc. I know that the measure of that arc is related to the measure of angle ACD. And it's related by this equation. The measure of angle ACD is equal to 1/2 the measure of arc ABC. Right? That's what the formula says. The measure ACD of the angle, ACD, is equal to 1/2 the measure of the arc that angle creates. Well, I know the measure of ACD. Look, they give me that little right angle symbol right here, which means that ACD is 90 degrees. Is equal to 1/2 the measure of ABC. So I'll simply multiply the 2 to the other side, and I get the measure of arc ABC is 180 degrees, which you could probably tell by looking at it. You know that AC is a diameter. Again, the reason you know that AC is a diameter is because of the tangent radius theorem. Please note, right, CD is a tangent line, and if the radius and the tangent line form a 90-degree angle, right, then I know that this guy has to be a radius, or in this case, a diameter, which means that it splits the circle in half, and I have 180 degrees. So there's more than one way, of course, to solve this problem, but the idea was to use the formula, and so we certainly did. I got another one for you here, but let me erase a little bit of this stuff so that I don't have to squeeze on you guys. Erase, erase, erase. Get rid of a little bit of that. There we go. That should give me enough space. Okay, here we go. What do they want me to find? They want me to find M and P. M and P. Ooh, there it is. M and P. They want this angle right there. And it looks like they did. Look, they gave me P, Q, N. They tell me that P, Q, N is 238 degrees. So here we go. The measure of angle M and P is equal to 1/2 the measure of P, Q, N, the measure of that arc, which they gave me. So the measure of angle M and P is 1/2 of 238 degrees. Don't fat finger something on your calculator, and you should get 122 degrees. Again, we're just using this secant tangent interior angle theorem to help us find the measure of missing angles, or vice versa. If I know the measure of the angle, the measure of the arc that angle creates. I asked you to find something else. In fact, actually, look, I asked you to find the measure of an arc. I want PN. So let me erase this stuff. Here we go. Find PN. All right. Where is PN? Arc PN is right. There it is. Arc PN. What do they give me? Oh, look, they give me the measure of the angle. So the measure of angle LPN, right? LPN, which I know is 61 degrees, has to be equal to 1/2 the measure of arc PN, which is what they're looking for. So here we go. 61 degrees is equal to 1/2 the measure of arc PN. I gotta multiply the 2 to the other side, and so the measure of arc PN is equal to 119 degrees. Again, I know, guys, it takes a little bit of practice probably to get good at seeing these, recognizing the formula, making sure that you use the right formula, but with some practice, really not too terribly tricky. In fact, of the problems that we've done so far this year, the algebra in these problems is really pretty straightforward algebra, not too terribly tricky. Yes, it's a lot of formulas to remember. But again, flashcards, Quizlets, something like that, some way to help you guys memorize, write them a lot. Of course, it's math. Practice makes perfect. Do lots of homework problems. I'm sure there's tons of problems in your book, worksheets. You can find stuff online, free resources and stuff like that. The more practice you get, the better you'll be at recognizing which formula you need to use and then getting the correct answer. So what we've done now is we've taken a look at 2 of our angle measure theorems. We have 3 of them. On the next page of the notes, we'll get a look at the 3rd one. I'll meet you guys there.